Workshop, Tuesday, first, item is number 2, discussion of the Liberty County facilities resolution. Who wants to start it off?
I can start it off. We've had a lot of discussion, about the naming of the Liberty County High School complex. We talked about it last time, at a workshop. We kind of ended where we had decided we were going to go to a workshop, and we really didn't know we was going back to a board, just put it on the thing. There was not a consensus. Kyle kind of cautioned us that we needed to kind of be on the same page. So I had conceded, I'll be honest with you, I had conceded to Kyle, and I'm sure he may have shared it with y'all, that I was fine, with doing the road. I did. Okay, well, I did. I wrote an email to Kyle, and y'all know me, I don't cut my mustard. I wrote an email to Kyle and told him if that's what the board want to do, I'm fine with it. About 2 or 3 days later, I wasn't fine with it anymore, because I got a lot of calls. And I will sit here and tell you one thing, Jody Bailey did not call one person in Liberty County. I got the calls. They came to me. So when I started getting the calls, I was like, this is more than what I even thought it was. So, and the people that were calling me was not, a lot of elected officials were calling me, and I'm going, wow, and they're going, what's the problem? And I said, I think, I think that's what we need to talk about now, is because I think, and this is what I told people, that it's from standpoints of other board members, it's because it's a Liberty County facility. It is the taxpayers, and other people have done work out there and given and donated. And so that's what I told them. I said, that's what I feel that, it has zero to do with anybody not loving the Roberts family, not appreciating what the Roberts family has done out there for that complex. It's just so, it's so obvious, but I go back, and now I'm coming, and I'm sitting here tonight with the same passion that I had when we were in that last workshop, because I will tell y'all from the bottom of my heart, if I feel something strong enough in my belly that says it's the right thing to do, then by God, then that's what I'm going to come to y'all with. And if I say it, if I feel it in my heart that it's not a good thing, y'all know it. But I feel very strongly about this, and I still am just as passionate as I was when I brought it to the board. And so that's what I'm going to say. I think it needs to be Liberty County High School Roberts Athletic Complex, and we need to move on from this. But again, I'll open the floor and just let everybody know. That's my start. So anybody else wants to talk? This workshop, let's talk. Is there any, Jared, did you want to say anything? We don't have to be as formal as what we do with the meetings or anything. So would that be okay? And I'm not trying to take your place, Mr. Chair.
I guess I'm very appreciative whatever is decided, whether it's a sign, whether it's a complex, whether it's the road. I think for the road, yes, we did that. I don't think that it needs to be my personal opinion. I don't think it needs to be Robert's Way or either Betty June Drive or anything of that sort. It services for sports. So I think it needs to be something like Bulldog Way or something of that sort to to carry that on. But like I said, whatever you guys decide, Robert's family's still gonna do what we've always done. Um, and, yes, Chuck does not live in this county, my dad doesn't live in this county, but I live in this county, and I gotta look at everybody. And it's pretty obvious that Chuck and Dad still appreciate this county, they still appreciate this school. I've got kids in the school, I would graduate from here, Dad graduated. So again, whatever you guys decide, is what it is at this point. But I know that from a standpoint of Chuck, I know he probably doesn't want us to fight for it. So I'm gonna just leave it at that, because he doesn't really require a whole lot of recognition. And good behind the scenes, does what he does. We all know that. But I think it would be very grateful, for that, because if you think about it, he doesn't really have to do any of this stuff. But he does it. So just think of what might happen if you were to do it. Because I know, I don't know, I guess I'm just, whatever you guys decide to be fine. And we'll be grateful for whatever that may be. As Robert's and
we're grateful for y'all too. I'm as grateful for y'all, but no matter what you think or what you hear, I'm telling you right now, I'm very grateful to the Roberts family.
And I appreciate you coming, Jared. I think you're a great fellow, always have. I think you've got a good heart. Nobody can deny that about you. So I appreciate you being here. I like the family does too. I look forward to it. And Mr. Chuck, they are great people. And I think it's, to me, I've thought about this every day, probably since our last meeting, just how I feel the dynamic of what this would look like, what should be done. And I'll be completely honest with you. I've looked at it from every angle, every objective standpoint, and tried to find rationale on all sides of what should and should not be done. And yeah, I go back really to what I had said in my time in the last workshop. That I absolutely believe it's 100% appropriate to name that complex, Robert's complex. I do. There's when I think looking back at schools, locations, whatever it may be, being named after people that's been opened up and that's available, and I understand it's appropriate. When James was here, I agreed a lot with him. And mentioned before, you're honoring the place, and you're honoring the people and the good that people do, and continue to do. And I think it's very fitting to honor the role that we're doing something like that, because of all that has been done, that are known. And that's what I do. I've gotten many calls. I have many calls pertaining to it, just like you stated. I've got many calls pertaining to it. I say that to say I've learned things that I didn't know, to know that it seems even more fitting to do so. So that's exactly where I stand. I'm 100% in agreement with it being named Roberts, Liberty County High School, Roberts Academic Complex.
I do have one question, because about state and school development in the state. Are there any obstacles with Department of Education with naming a football, I don't know, are there any, do we have to go get approvals through?
So the answer is no, but we do have a board policy for this. So,
Okay.
and it's nothing here about you, I mean, it just tells you how you do that. It's, this is 7250, which is called the commemoration of disabilities. 7250, if y'all can pull this up on your computer, go to policies on the far right and then get, sorry, I think facilities, but anyway, 72, it's in the 7,000. 7250, from time to time, the school board may wish to commemorate a school or district facility by means of a plaque or naming the facility after a person. Such commemoration should be reserved only for those individuals who have made a significant contribution to the enhancement of education generally, or the district in particular, or to the well-being of the district, community, state, and the nation. So then basically, the board makes that decision, and then what I would do is, if it gets to the point where we have, and I put this in, thing, by a majority direction coming out of a workshop, then the superintendent would submit those proposed names for whatever you want to do to the board for final approval. That's what it's called. So the only thing in here is if you were to change names. So, let's say if you wanted, let's just say somebody said, I don't want to call WR Toller WR Toller. Well, there's an action 18-month window where you want to vet that before you go change. Something like that. Said in the event the board shall allow time of not less than 18 months from said date for community to have real time for community involvement, deliberation, discussion, and debate prior to taking action. So that's not applicable here. So what we need to do to get that as an agenda item would be a majority direction for that. You know.
So I guess what I'm at, okay, if, like I told you the other day, I mean, we don't go to workshop, I don't know what we'll resolve in workshop, but, you know, I'll try to put it on the agenda, because are we gonna be able to say that we are a majority, or we're not a majority?
That's
I mean,
what
because
y'all.
the only reason Doobie would even have to be involved in this if it was a tie, right?
On the,
If we had to go to the agenda, and we had to vote, and there was 2 nays,
correct, that's correct.
two, yeah, and then Doobie would have to break the tie.
That's correct.
Okay,
Absolutely.
all right, so. Boo's still on there?
No.
Okay, so now, he's not here. I mean, are we okay? Are we okay with moving forward with this? If we're not, then then like I told you, that's how democracy works. I mean, we're gonna find out if we're not. If we gotta have a vote, y'all help me out here. I'm
So,
sorry.
as
What
far
are we doing?
You're upset, correct.
I mean, are we? If Boo is gonna be, you know, if Jason and Boo vote no, and me and Mason the do, it's gonna be up to you, bud, to break the tie.
well,
But I mean, is it, should we be talking about which way he's going, or is that his right to reserve that?
So the board chair votes.
Yeah.
Either way, he's up or down, obviously either way, but I mean, if y'all talk tonight and you've got 3, then we put it on the agenda, we roll it.
Well, I got three. He's not, Jason is not. Okay. Why are the reasons? Is it because of what I said before about is it because of the taxpayers? There's a lot of people who've done other work and, you know, is it just the overall concept of naming it after somebody?
Anybody.
Of anybody. And because of that it needs to say Liberty County High School. Okay, so my question is this. Naming the buildings would be okay? Because we sat here and talked about naming the Tommy Duggar, I remember James talking about naming Tommy Duggar softball thing or something, or,
Concessions,
right, the concession stands, those buildings, football field house is gonna be,
a portion of it.
right, and the football field house, we've already conceded that that is going to be named, I mean, it's gonna have flags.
Correct.
Okay.
I like that, I like that idea of the flags and field houses.
Absolutely, recognition, absolutely, I'm 100% with it. Of honoring people that have done and continue to do, you know, even if they're passed on, we should honor those people. I'm 1000%. So we're not in agreement then. I don't know about.
Well, I mean, just again, for clarity, I'm happy with it being on the agenda, and voting on the agenda for the Roberts Athletic Complex, that's.
But that's two,
That's not.
and and, you know, we can put this thing up there and it get voted down. I don't either, I want to be put on the, I mean, I'm like, I'd rather a speed, but I'm so confused right now.
Can I share, can I put the board member hat? So we've gone through this when we named the trash, Mr. Mike, from Mr. Myers' shoe. And we were all in agreement with that. This is my thing, there's very few things that the board members get to pick. Most of the 99.9% is stuff that I put before y'all, budget, personnel, and y'all do this to me or this to me. That's constitutional the way it works. This is one of those things, it's 100% y'all, okay? So when I told y'all, I want y'all to be in agreement, if y'all are not all on the same page, and maybe the public's not all on the same page. I love unity. You know, one thing that I was told a long time, Mr. Jerry Johnson told a long time, he says, you want a 5-0 vote. You can deal with 4-1, but if you 3-2, that's not a unified board. So my thing is whatever you do, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
If you say, let's call it that, I have to go with what you say, and I'm prepared to do whatever, y'all give me the direction. Y'all put it on the agenda and go, and then you'll vote on it.
But we don't have enough.
I just want y'all, here's what I don't want y'all to be divided over it.
Right.
And I think there's some, you know, that's why we discussed.
Right.
And the law does not allow y'all to call each other
No,
after hours. And so that's what I'm saying. I didn't tell them, I didn't call Newbie up and say, here's where Judge is going. That'd be breaking the law. That'd be breaking sunshine law. Even if I'm communicating, you know, that'd be you communicating them to me. So I didn't do any of that. I wanted y'all to think about it, then you can hear what Chuck said and talk about it. So that's just my thing. Y'all tell me the direction you wanna go.
So, I'm fine with it being put on the regular board meeting for an action item on the agenda. But that's just me personally, I'm fine with it going on. I don't know if we need to have Lou to make a comment on it, but that's where I stand.
well, and I'm okay with the agenda. He's, Jason, you're not okay with putting on the agenda.
I'm not saying. My vote tonight is not to put this on. So, that's my stand.
Not to put it on the agenda.
That's not, I didn't say put it on the agenda.
Right. I said, you're not, you don't want it on the agenda. Okay, so we want it on the agenda, we don't want it on the agenda, you.
We need
We need to call Lou back. We want it on the agenda. I think that's what we need to decide, if we want to push this for an agenda item, or we don't.
He's back.
But that's a 2-2 now, if he says no, I don't want it on the agenda. Well,
So
Yeah, I mean, they could call.
do you want to talk about it? I mean,
This week.
well, okay, so as I talked to Boo, okay, I have talked to Boo. But I can't, I'm not at liberty to share that. You know, he needs to speak for himself.
Okay,
He needs to speak for himself.
okay.
I know, he needs to do it. And I'm not so sure he was.
What you've been about right now is what you thought.
That's what when I said it to Kyle, I said, I don't know what a workshop's gonna accomplish. I really don't. I mean, I still don't understand it. It,
But
but
the purpose of the workshop, obviously, goes without saying, is just figure out where everybody's at. We're not voting, y'all are not voting tonight. But what I was saying is if we've got a majority here that says we want it on there,
yeah,
then,
we don't have a majority.
so that's why you call a workshop.
No, we don't. So we don't have to have another workshop? To decide what we want it on this year?
Can't you call Boo and Dewey tomorrow? Or the next day? or before the next meeting?
Yeah, okay, great question. I see what you're saying. Sorry.
And say, hey, you.
If I've got 3 board members that say, please put this on the agenda, it goes on the agenda. I don't have, that's a great question. I don't have to do it during workshop.
That doesn't have to be done.
I can
Okay.
have 3,
Okay.
but I'm not gonna tell you which 3 it is.
No,
I have to
I
say, I got 3 board members that said put it on the agenda, and it goes on there.
Okay.
And then we'll.
That should have been done.
Yeah.
So then Boo's not available, to be able to speak tonight, he's not available anymore,
Yeah.
so
I don't think he was feeling good. I think he was really.
So I'm saying he's in, spoke, so then. But from what I'm understanding, Kyle, you'll call all of us, and then you'll determine whether or not that needs to be put on the agenda for the regular meeting. Yes,
Be
ma'am.
glad to. Be glad to.
And then if we make it, then we're fine. Jared, you good? We good? We rolling on.
Yeah, the workshops also lets him speak, lets anybody else who come out to speak, advocate for or against. That's why, that way nobody says, well, y'all made a decision, we have a chance to, and I use the word agree, but we don't have a chance to talk for or against it.
Yeah.
And I talked to Jared. Everybody, Jared, we had a good talk, I thought.
Okay, so here's what I'll do. And I know Lou's not on here. How about I just, we'll say Tuesday. How about I follow up in the week, maybe Friday, and y'all let me know, and we'll go from there.
We good?
I'm good. I'm totally good.
Thank you. Do we need a motion? Motion.
Okay, so I made a motion to adjourn. Go ahead.